we are going to be having an interview with the lead developer, Julian. He's agreed to come on and talk a little bit about the game and just, I've really wanted to talk to him for a long time. So, I don't have anything set up today, by the way, because all of this is out in the air, so we're just going to do this live, right, Julian?
Yo, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's closing in on almost midnight, but
do you do releases after midnight?
Yeah, usually. That's how it goes.
Why?
Then I stay up until like 4 a.m. to
Why?
sometimes do things, but that's just my life.
Okay. Man, you know, I knew your work ethic was phenomenal. I didn't realize it was that. That is That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot.
But things gotta get done. So,
chat, this is Julian, the lead developer to Questmaster. Thank you very much for coming on today and
my pleasure.
Leading us off into, you have no idea what is going to happen today. But yeah, thanks for coming on. I have been following you since, and I'm gonna get this right because this, for some reason, I am like 99.9% sure. I've been following you since the days of when you were making Mystica, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Thank God. I'm like, this better be the right guy, otherwise it's gonna sound really, really awkward. Saya, take a $15 donation to Sick Kids. But yeah.
You're digging my past here, yeah.
Yeah, that was, how long ago was that?
Oh boy, I think I started the game in like 2016 or something, and then like I took so many years to make it, and like it never even got finished. It's a complicated story, very long story.
For those who don't know, Mystica, I showed this off on stream because I was really, really excited. That's why I kept up with Julian. It was a procedurally generated Zelda-like, and it looked super, super cool. And I was following the blogs and everything else like that. And then Julian started mentioning he was working for Questmaster. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm following this now. So
yeah, it's like, it just happened. And like, I still don't know if I'm able to finish Mystica at some point. Because, many things that I've designed for it, like I don't agree with anymore, like design decisions. Obviously, I also can't do art anymore because of my injury with my wrist, which led me having to completely switch my setup to be able to continue programming. So like, there's many issues that would arise, which is why I'm so fortunate to be able to work on Questmaster and like have it actually, come to fruition, because I don't have to do any of the art, any of the music, nothing. I'm just solely focusing on game design and programming.
Okay, so that's why Thomas is here, right?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
man.
the lead artist.
Yeah, the game looks. I mean, you don't need to hear from me for the 40th time. This game is spectacular. I've actually been enjoying my time. I haven't even played that many maps because I've just been building the map for months.
Yeah.
And obviously just doing other real life stuff, and similar to you, also managing health related stuff. So. But yeah, no, this game definitely, I don't want to say caught me off guard in a bad way, but like it definitely, like I was like, okay, this is another good looking map maker, and I'm really excited. And then the more that I saw what people were developing and just kind of how everything comes together, all the mechanics and the aesthetic and stuff like that, like this game is phenomenal, and I think actually stands out to be, in my opinion, this is not just because I'm trying to talk good in front of your bosses, but I think that this should be the lead for what map makers, especially ones that want to follow the Zelda-like aesthetic, should be looking at for inspiration. Because what you've done here with the different mechanics and the releases and things sort of flowing together, it's the same but different, and that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I have to say the same. Like, I'm incredibly happy that it's coming together so nicely in the end. We have many new players coming in every day. We have many players daily. Like, it's not like, usually with games they tend to fall down really quickly after they release. But like with Questmaster, it's like rock steady. It's not like we have thousands of players actively every day, obviously. I mean, not yet, hopefully. But like we have a good like 30 to 40, sometimes even 50 players a day. And like it's just steady over the weeks. And especially with the major content updates, it always gets a crazy spike. Even just with the regular updates on Friday alone. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and that's something that these games rely on, is having that community to be building the maps, because without it, like literally there is, like, the game dies with nobody, right? This isn't like a it's similar to PvP, right? Where once you don't have people playing PvP, it's just kind of like, well, that's it. There's no game anymore because it's built around a community. But it's awesome to see, it's just being, I've been a creator for 9 years. On Twitch, and I've seen map makers and kind of seen like these things spark, you know, bigger creators and smaller creators alike and things like that, and it's rare to see what Questmaster has achieved, where you've gotten the attention of those larger creators that have actually like gone back to the game. Like Zeldathon had you on. You know, it makes sense, Zelda-like Zeldathon, but like there are other map makers, and Questmaster got the attention of Zeldathon, and I think that's like exceptional and a huge accomplishment for your game, because it does rely on people's eyeballs and people playing it, and you do have those numbers, and you have like you said, you have your updates and everything else like that, and it's nice to see. It's a breath of fresh air. I always worry that these kind of games will just fall off immediately, and then people are just kind of wanting, and you know, I think without mentioning names, there were a couple before Questmaster that I was looking at that sort of had that happen to them. So it's good to see that Questmaster was able to kind of leech on and keep carrying forward.
Yeah, for sure. I think the weekly updates definitely contribute a lot to that. And of course also the fact that, you know, arguably Questmaster is the most appealing looking Zelda maker out there at the moment. I'm not sure if like how you would even like trump it visually in the like 2D market. But yeah, I think by 1.0, I'm hoping for a big spike in players, because I know like many people are actually waiting for 1.0, you know, for just stability, extra features, campaign, single player, which surprisingly actually many people wait for. This really surprised me that they are waiting for specifically the campaign, like the solo player content. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That is interesting, because one thing that I've noticed just from, I only watch Discord, I'm not like a threads or a forum guy, but when I so do you know anything about the maps they're playing today?
I think you're playing the Pokemon map, right?
Yeah.
Do
you know anything about that one?
Not much. I've only seen a couple screenshots you sent me like a couple months ago, but it's been a while.
Okay, so the map is like 5 hours long casually.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a chunky monkey. And like obviously it all hinges on whether or not people remember, because it's basically a lore accurate recreation. By the way, your tag I thought was recreation, it's recreation. I hate English. But anyways, like it's a big game, and it's like a really big map, so it's really laggy, and I didn't think about that with my racers. I didn't tell them, don't worry about it. But the point being, it's interesting because people generally gravitate towards quicker maps. They want either speedrun, or they just want to get that sort of like, I want to play 10 maps today. And when you have an overworld thing, like, is there going to be a save feature or something like that for people to be able to play campaigns? Maybe that's why then. Okay, that's that.
Yeah, so like there's two things that I would like to touch on in there, because we have the separation of dungeons and overworlds, right? That are coming post 1.0. Like, you'll be able to make full overworlds, and those will have a separate save feature. So you'll be able to save your progress in the overworld, but there will also be a save feature for dungeons themselves. So it's not like a quick save. How it works is it will be you will be able to save and quit in case you have to leave, right? So it's not like a save you can just come back to like as many times as you want. It's like a one-time use save. In case it's too long and you want to give it a pause. But it's not done because it's very complex. Like, we even have issues with having to, like, with resetting the room with the reset switch. That causes issues sometimes. And like, you can imagine having to reset an entire dungeon to a specific state of time is very complex with all of the interactions. But that will be a huge game changer for those really long dungeons that I've seen. Like, I've played a couple ones that were multiple hours long, and they are great, but I agree. It's definitely, stretching like your attention span, and like just also how long you can focus is just too long sometimes.
Right. And that's why this map was built for charity and not for like, hey, community, look at me. This map is not for the faint of heart. It's big. It's big. It's laggy for anyone who doesn't have a $4,000 PC like me, and it heavily relies on imagination, because Julian has heard this in the Discord and in DMs. I really need flippers, because the things that I had to do to make certain things work. I'm
looking forward to it.
Oh, you know what? It worked out. That's the beauty of it. It was something that I try to do, because I'm gonna admit, like, I'm very good at combat-based stuff. Puzzle stuff is difficult for me, although the escape room that people are going to be doing today, I will say are the best puzzles I've ever made.
That's cool.
Like, actually, like, I'm actually impressed, and I gave it to my friends who are really good at puzzles, and I stumped them for an hour, and I'm like, this is beautiful.
Oh, wow.
My friends hate me because I actually stumped them. Usually they crush it, and I have to go back and
that's great.
Make more. But the game has a lot of mechanics in it, and something that I always like to do is sort of, similar to other people in the Discord, push the limits and try and find unique ways of doing it, without bugging it, of course, but just try and find ways. So I really enjoyed trying to make a Pokemon universe with a Zelda aesthetic and kind of mimic the Easter eggs, or just sort of homages to Pokemon, using whatever you've given us. So you've already given us quite a bit. Like, it's a very fleshed out game for an early access game. So
for sure.
So just out of curiosity, you're the lead developer. Who else is comprised of the team?
Well, I'm the solo developer. Like, I'm fully responsible for like all the coding and most of the game design as well. We have Thomas in the chat as well. Thomas Pixel Art. He's the lead artist, and he's also, helping with game design sometimes. But like, game design is generally like a collaborative effort in a team. We have Thomas, we have Giuliano, another artist. We have Zach, another artist, and we have Felipe, another artist. So we have 4 artists working on the game, which is crazy to think about. It's actually so much art we have to do for the game, like all the themes, even like all the themed parts that we have, and like just everything. It's insane. And then we have a fairly sizable music team at Apogee. They're making music. It's a handful of people. I think the existing soundtrack has been made by, I think, 4 people in total, which is pretty cool. And we have 1 guy working on sounds. And so like about like a 10-person team, give or take. It's pretty sizable for like my first commercial big project, right?
Right. And in case anyone was curious, this is what the game looks like. In case you actually are new and you haven't seen what Questmaster looks like, this is the beautiful 2D art of it. Was it sort of a team decision to go for more of that Minish Cap feel to it? Like what sort of brought you to the overall like feel and look of this game with the music and all of that?
That's interesting, because I don't know if you saw, like, I don't know for how long you've been following the game, but initially it wasn't using like the Minish Cap style. It actually was using like a more Oracle of Ages, like Link's Awakening style. And it just didn't feel right, because it was too simple, too retro. It just didn't feel like that sounds a bit weird, but that didn't feel like commercial enough, so doing the switch to Minish Cap style was crazy important, because it made the game just look a lot more professional and polished. Unfortunately, of course, it adds lots of overhead, because we have to make so much more objects. Like, everything is so much bigger, more colors, more shading, everything. But it's so important. We actually, I used to have the feature to have different game styles even. Like in Mario Maker, where you can like switch between like the first Mario game and like Super Mario World. But it turned out to be just way too like big in scope, because we even struggling to get the Minish Cap style fully done alone, and like imagining having to make multiple game styles of literally everything in the game is just crazy. That wouldn't have worked out.
And you've got like 6 themes planned, plus decorations, plus all these little gizmos that just have that very slight change between themes. That would be, I can imagine that'd be a lot.
Yeah, even more themes actually. It's not just 6.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's insanely much work on the art side. So I'm glad I'm not having to do it anymore. I'm gonna be honest.
Like Minish Cap is, I think, my favorite Zelda. It's nice. It's nice to see this because I've always like when I think about Minish Cap, the roll animation is just very, very clean. The different sword techniques, just how smooth the graphics felt for the time. Like it was a GBA game and it looked spectacular, right? It's in my opinion one of their cleanest looking Zeldas that they made for top down, along with stuff like Link to the Past and stuff like that. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see this aesthetic, and I understand how much work it would be because I think something when I think about the market as well. When I think about map makers that I've looked at in the past that are Zelda, like a lot of them already kind of use that. I'm not artsy in nature, but like a lot of that 16-bit top-down Link to the Past looking all that. So making it the same would be like, okay, it's got to stand out in some way, but despite the extra work, I do think like this turned out really, really well. And plus, you've got really good shadows and good like color combinations. The lighting in the game, people are definitely gonna get a good look at the lighting. When we get into the map, so
absolutely,
like it's all come together very, very nicely. And then you should be proud of what the hard work has led to, because I can understand like 4 artists making this, like that's. I would be more surprised if it was less. Let's say, because that would be like you staying up to 4 a.m. release. Like, don't do that.
Well, there will be a point where I don't have to do that at some point, but I'm alright with doing it. I take the responsibility. But yeah, like just touching on the point of Minish Cap again. Arguably, I would say that the more like Link's Awakening Oracle style would have been more intuitive in terms of like perspective, because like the biggest design change that came when we switched to the Minish Cap style was the tall walls, right? Because the walls actually are comprised of like 2 tiles, like it's a very tall wall visually.
Right.
Before it was only 1, and that not only causes many like code issues and like bugs that are still present with the lowered elevation, but that's another topic. It also adds a lot more art overhead and also just design changes I had to make to accommodate it. But this is also why like having multiple game styles doesn't work in Questmaster, because the walls are like fundamentally different, right? So once modding comes out, I'm sure people will mod like the older Zelda styles into the game, but it won't nicely translate one-to-one into it. I've tried it already. I've tried modding the Oracle style into it. It kind of works, but you see the limitations of why it doesn't work so well. But I'm looking forward to it once modding comes out.
So what exactly are you gonna allow modding for? Like character sprites, pieces, enemies? Like is it gonna be the whole shebang? Like people just go wild with it?
Yeah, just the whole shebang. Like it's not going to be it's going to be like a intuitive tooling that I provide with the game to allow people to easily make mods.
Okay.
Right now the plan is to allow players to make additive mods that are not being tied to dungeons, but you can also make mods that you tie to a dungeon specifically. So when you download the dungeon to play, the mod will actually be downloaded with it in case you want your dungeon to look a specific way. For example, using some custom assets for a new theme that the game doesn't ship with, right? But in case you want to have like a custom character that you want to keep throughout all the themes and like all the mods, then you can load that additively on top of that. So it's going to be like a fairly sophisticated modding system, which allows you to mod all art and all sound-related like things like music and sounds. But there's not going to be any coding to it. Like there's not going to be gameplay extensions you can do, because that would require me to like actually maintain a coding API, a public one, which is not something that I want to do. And it's also just not fairly compatible with the game, because so many things, it's just too intricate to get into with modding. So so like all art, all music, all sounds, and that should be more than enough.
So what is the likelihood that someone is going to build Doom in Questmaster and play it on a fridge?
That's a good question. We are going to add global conditions and global triggers, but I don't think we're going to add as many needed to make like a full-on LCD display and like an emulator. But we'll see.
Okay. Better question. Who's gonna make main characters with a gun? Can we expect main characters with a gun?
No comment on that, but
okay.
I guess keep your hopes up.
Oh, my hopes for the internet are always up when it comes to can we make a character with a gun? You can pet the dog. That was proven, Kami.
You can pet the dog, yeah.
All right, so you heard it here. No full confirmation, but lands with a gun, built into a fridge. Someone's gonna make a Quake 64 mod. You know, we already have parkour maps, so Quake 64 is coming. We're gonna have some like Gust Jar blowback. So, I mean, you could kind of already do it with certain tools. I think honestly, you've kind of done the interview for me. You've covered a lot of things, which is awesome.
Awesome.
But I guess what I really want to ask you is sort of just like we can already see why this game stands out. And what it's done, the community is spectacular. You have a contest going on right now involving Zorbs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see a lot, like you already have a lot of great QA people and a lot of really well-known map makers with it. So I guess my main question, like mostly I just wanted to come here and fangirl with you, basically, about this game, right? Like I've been really excited to talk to you, and I'm really grateful that you came on to sort of bring everybody into this event, because we have been doing charity fundraising for 9 years, and same thing with what I said about the Dice Maker last night. Totoro is these kinds of events, this sort of fundraising on this channel is not possible without the collaboration, sort of the involvement of everybody in it, because that's what we've always been built upon. So to see a community come together and sort of celebrate this, maybe like be excited, then 2 hours in when you look at the map and go, Jesus Christ, what did he build? Maybe your opinion changes, but for now, let's celebrate each other's company. But
for sure.
My question is, for you, what would be, I guess, the success of this game for you? And I'm not talking about like community playing it for X number of concurrent stuff like this. What for you would make this game feel like it is at least in your eyes, the complete set of like Questmaster has found its stride, and people who enjoy it will be like, this is the game I see them enjoying? Like, where do you see that sort of bar for you?
It's a good question. Yeah, I've thought about it a lot actually in the past. I do already consider the game a success. That's no question. I don't want to talk like financials, because that's a very difficult topic. We all have to live off this, unfortunately. But assuming the game does well enough financially, I think probably just like I would consider Questmaster to be like peak for me if it would appear in like a Nintendo Switch Direct.
Ooh.
That would be, I think, once I reach that, I can die happy. Like that's always been my dream, like to be on a official Nintendo console, like ever since I was a child. So it looks pretty promising that we can achieve that, and it might even be possible that we can appear in the Direct, from what I know. So that's like the thing I'm working towards.
I'm trying to think. Has Nintendo in particular showcased a lot of map maker? I know Super Dungeon Maker made it on there, right?
Yeah, they did on the channel. Yeah. It was crazy.
I'm trying to think. Like, I'm not really. I mean, Nintendo's kind of in the bad books for Pokemon players right now because of the whole power patent thing. Yeah, but I saw that. Watch out, they might come for your game because they're going to claim that they were the person who invented characters holding swords. But like this game runs really well with controller. I use keyboard and mouse to build and then controller to play, just to do things quicker. But it runs really well on a controller. One of the better ones actually that I think I've played. I've played like 3 or 4 map makers that had built-in controller features with the game's release. And this one definitely works really, really well and doesn't sort of have those stutters that kind of latency between you moving the joystick and stuff like that. It would run really well on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, I solely play on Steam Deck, and like Questmaster has always been from the ground up designed to be like mainly played with a gamepad, or like specifically like played with the gamepad, because I've always envisioned the game to be on like a Nintendo console, like I used to have plans for it to be on 3DS, but obviously that's not viable anymore because it's not being
late.
supported. But the Switch is the next target, I guess. But yeah, like it plays amazingly well. Like even the editor. Obviously, keyboard will always be more efficient, but like I would argue, it's a really good experience. Especially with touchscreen on deck, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
like
no, touchscreen would make that way easier, a little more intuitive and stuff like that. So Wii U with tilt controls then.
Tilt controls.
Yeah, you like move it around, like you move your character, kind of like a Kirby's Tilting World type of deal.
That doesn't sound too bad.
You can roll by shaking.
That's not. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a cool idea. I mean, I used to have like, I don't know if you remember if you ever played Mario Galaxy.
I'm not good at Mario. I've watched people play Mario Galaxy.
I see. Well, in the first one, there's like this mini game where you are in like this weird bouncy ball, and you have to tilt the Wii remote to move the ball forwards or backwards.
Oh yeah.
I had that kind of idea for Questmaster, and I think tilt controls might work actually. On another note, we might actually bring the game to mobile as well, and of course on mobile that's also kind of native to do tilt controls, I guess. But that's very tentative. I don't even know if it would run well because people have struggles with like large dungeons on PC, and I'm almost at the edge of optimization for PC. So having this run on like a mobile phone would probably require me to completely rewrite it in another engine. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
This map would definitely melt.
Yeah.
I can just see the case slowly corroding.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, I'm in Misty's gym. Why am I on fire? I don't know. Yeah, and honestly, I agree with you. This felt it felt complete after about 2 updates from early access. That's why I reached out and said like, hey, I really need to play this game and show it to people because it's a very good game, and I think it shows that you put a lot of heart into it, more than just with the nice community, but like the game looks absolutely polished and incredible. And I'm going to admit, I'm so sorry I have not tried the wind theme yet because I spent so much goddamn time in the forest thing building the Kanto map because I can't put Kanto in the sky. It doesn't make sense.
That does make sense indeed.
So, yeah, Julian, thank you very much for bringing us into this.
My pleasure.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the Questmaster community, or to your fellow workers, or just in general about Questmaster? Any final sort of hurrahs? Not like it's going away, but you know what I mean. Like anything you want to say, having this very small, but it's a platform nonetheless. This is your time.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just want to say that I'm very grateful for the community we've built with the game so far, and I just hope that it continues to grow from now on until the end of time, hopefully. I have no means of stopping development ever, as long as the game does well enough financially. So this could really become like the state-of-the-art Zelda maker.
And I do think it is, like I said, I think this is a leading one that people should take notes from. I do think that what you're doing, because like the thing is, there are some things I want, right? There are certain features I want in,
right?
But it's when I look at it objectively, I go, it's because I played other makers that make it work, and there's other concessions with that. And the fact that I can sort of look past it and go, okay, I might not be able to do this, but I'm okay with it because I'm enjoying the maker itself anyways, right? I think that's when I personally look at a game and go, this is how I know that this is a game for me and feels like a complete game, because it's got the fun and it's got the creativity in it. And I appreciate that week after week. You don't have to update weekly, you're just choosing to do that. But week after week, you are just encouraging the minds of many to build new maps that I thought people would be done with, and now we're just getting into the whole Kaizo, like, here's a Zorb behind a wall, good luck, right? Like, we've hit that point, but it's still going beyond that. So
yeah, it's insane.
Thank you very much for making a fantastic game. I'm glad that I found Mystica and you, right? we're not like close bros or anything, chat, but like this is one of my favorite devs. Okay.
Yeah, we go back a long time.
We go back like 8 years.
Yeah.
I was a dude in a tank top doing competitive Pokemon, and he was making a Zelda roguelike, and I'm like, this guy's cool. He's like, yeah, cool, thanks for following my game, in a high squeaky like nerd voice. And now he's got like this awesome voice, and I'm here still a Pokemon player, but you know, I make maps and piss people off with that. So yeah, thank you very much for coming out and doing this interview. I've learned that copying things is kind of neat, and it's a nice fun challenge, especially trying to make Pokemon maps that were 3x3 into a viable Zelda dungeon. So
yeah, no, it's really a unique concept. I've not seen Pokemon maps be done in Questmaster so far. Really cool.
Yeah, they're not catching anything, but like we get to see how pure of heart they are, whether or not they drown Professor Oak, kill their pet, and try and get the Mew under the truck. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah. No, that's a good point for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge Pokemon fan myself, so I'm looking forward to that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Are there any Pokemon Easter eggs in this?
There actually aren't that many Easter eggs yet at all.
That's fair.
I do have some space now for some with the Tattle Totems in Castletown, so I will be adding a lot of like secret dialogue for that, and I'm sure to include like some Pokemon references. That's for sure.
I mean, there were definitely very similar like Zelda tropes that I thought were Easter eggs. I just didn't know if you were following the same formula.
They are most likely, yeah.
Yeah. Which
I guess we could have like some kind of Pokemon-inspired pet, perhaps. Maybe like an egg that looks almost like a Pokeball, and like something that resembles a Pokemon would hatch from it. That would be really cute.
Hold on. Remember, Nintendo invented the concept of a spherical object on a pedestal. Careful.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not making it sound good for your Switch, love. They want to be on the Switch. Don't use me as the thing to stop them, okay? I crap on Pokemon because I love Pokemon, and I crap on things I love. Phrasing. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. You should get out of here, too, before things become a liability. Thank you very much for joining us today. And, yeah. Any words for my racers?
I hope the game doesn't lag.